The special teams have been shaky at times, but had a much better season this last year. All the metrics, all the rankings on special teams bared that out that Florida State improved considerably in the specials. And obviously, like you mentioned to me before we started to record, what's there to talk about? You got Ryan Fitzgerald, you've got Alex Mastromano, again, holding down the two kicking spots. But of course, special teams is obviously an opportunity for most programs to get young players on the field, get them reps, and have those guys be the guys. So the coverage and return units change, not just the guys that actually catch the football, but the entire unit. So that's something that the special teams coordinator has to figure out what's the best way to approach that. But what are your thoughts about special teams?
I think it's really on Jalen Lucas here, the Indiana transfer running back, special team superstar. We know what he did over there and was super explosive. And I think it's going to rely on him a lot there because we saw, it was crazy. We saw Keon Coleman at punt return. We all thought that was nuts for Florida State and Mike Norvell doing that, but it worked out well and put Florida State in some really good spots offensively to get down on the field and start their series. But I think it's on Jalen Lucas here, and just depending on who they want to put alongside him, they put him over there at the kick return position. Florida State likes to mess around in this area a little bit and surprise us. But you could look at some running back room because Keziah Holmes in there. Deuce Spann has been at that kick return as well, but I'm not too much of a fan of Deuce being back there as much as I first thought I would, just because you've got some other youngsters back there. You lost Destin Hill. I forgot to mention that in the wide receiver preview. You lost him for the start of this season. I would have loved for him to be back there in the kick return unit, just because of his vision. He's just got natural ability there. But this all relies on Jalen Lucas, and this is why they brought him over here as a transfer player. And I think this is what Florida State is going to look for, because special teams is big this upcoming season for Florida State. They had some success in some regards in some certain areas, but this is where Jalen Lucas should be able to shine. And I just think what you lost with Keon Coleman there at punt return, I think that's really important to them now, and I think that's why they did a good job of bringing him in the transfer portal. They saw that they were able to put on some good yards and set them up for success offensively on drives with getting that extra cushion of some yards. So I'm watching Jalen Lucas quite a bit and see what he does. But we know he's shifty. He's a little dude, and I'm interested to see how he does.
Logan, I know you'd like to be at practice every day, and previous seasons you've been able to get there more often when it was a shorter jaunt, but you'll get out there a little bit. So putting the practice reps together that you're able to catch with news and intel that comes out, leading into August 24th against Georgia Tech, way across the ocean. What's going to make you feel better about this football team? What are you looking for? What are you hoping to hear? In addition to nobody gets hurt, of course, but in addition to that, what's going to make you feel better about them leading into week 0?
I think there's 4 things, Mark. Number 1 is DJ moving smoothly with the offense. Number 2 is who's going to be your wide receiver 3 in the wide receiver room. Malik Benson, Ja'Gai Douglas, who's going to be wide receiver 3. I feel better about that going into week 0. Number 3 is defensive tackle in the trenches behind Joshua Farmer and Daryl Jackson, who is going to cement themselves at being a solidified depth piece in that room for Florida State. And then number 4 is, maybe I just made it up because maybe there is not number 4. I had one in my mind, but offense, I'm thinking here. No, yeah, I do. Number 4, we're talking about Kyle Morlock. Strong start to fall camp. That's great. I want to see it translate onto Saturdays. And, I'll feel a lot better here if we start hearing some better things going into game week that this has continued. But he's got to stay healthy, because right now it's kind of being predicated on him being that TE1. And there's a pretty big cushion space before getting to TE2. It's not like how it was previously the last couple of years with Florida State, where you had Jaheim Bell, Marquise Douglas, and Kyle Morlock, or you had Marquise Douglas out there. for the last couple of seasons. I think that's a big loss for Florida State on the blocking department for Florida State. So Jackson West has to jump up there and make the strides. Those are my bigger question. Those would make me feel better going into week 0 if those things get answered. And I think there's some signs on a few of them, but really right now it's more on Kyle Morlock. Another 3, only weekend, got some answers to be made. So we'll see how we're looking here in about 7 to 10 days.
Well, Logan, like we said off the top, I appreciate you stopping by, and I always enjoy these conversations with you where I can nerd out, get the complete breakdown, all the personnel. I want to be on top of it, and I'm trying to keep track of everyone. So for you to give me a breakdown in an hour, that gets me caught up. In addition to everything else I'm doing, so it's a great breakdown for everyone. Obviously, Florida State's in a different position, everyone, than everybody but Georgia Tech in terms of Power 5 teams, Power 4 teams, where they're already on the field. We're already a week in. By the time you see this, folks, it might be 2 weeks in. So it's great to get an update from Logan and do this every spring and every fall. So, Logan, appreciate you stopping by. And again, it's every Wednesday at 7 Eastern, everyone, with Logan and the rest of the guys at Knoll Game Day right here on YouTube.
Yep. I appreciate everybody coming on here, hanging out. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button too. Get notified every time I release a new episode. But yeah, definitely appreciate having me on, Mark. We're getting close to football season. There's just nothing better at all. And man, we went for a roller coaster of a ride in 2023. Lord knows, literally, you can't make any guesses. It's Florida State. You never know what kind of ride we're about to go on. But nonetheless, it's going to be fun. There's a lot to like about this team. And we got a really good fall camp happening right now. So thanks for everybody for tuning in.